A very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us on the Tuesday edition of the show. I'm Yemi Adebayo. We're here again to talk about sports, to take you around the world of sports, letting you in on everything that is happening with the Euros. And of course, we talk about rugby on the show tonight. We have a special guest lined up for you. I won't let the cat out of the bag just yet to be talking about that. And of course, we look at football on the domestic scene, President Federations Cup just gone by. We have our winners in the men's and women's category. We'll talk about all of that even as we move on. We'll continue with our countdown to the Olympics. It's here now. It's here less than a month to the Olympics. So we'll talk about all of that. It's a two-man show, as you already know. My colleague, Austin Okunakpan, suited and ready as we take you on the strip across the money-spinning world of sports.
What a great things to you, and of course, everyone joining us on the show tonight. Still an action-packed world of sports. The Euros, finally, now people can feel the heat. The round of 16. If you blink, you start asking questions. The Netherlands, they struggled. They were shaky during the group stage. But today, in the round of 16 game against Romania, they showed some level of improvement. So they've qualified for the quarterfinals. And this is the first time, Yemi, that they're doing it in 20 years. So what a performance for the Netherlands. Let's see what they can do when they get to the quarterfinals. Turkey needed an early goal against Austria to avoid stories that touch. And now they are doing so well with that. But the Austrians, we know them when they need to bounce back and how unpredictable they can be. So there's still so much to be played in that encounter. We'll be monitoring it to let our viewers know what's going on. You mentioned what happened in the President's Federation Cup. We now have our winners. Congratulations to them. We'll break it down on the show tonight. And rugby, the development of rugby in Nigeria. When we have an opportunity to talk about sports other than football, we take it because that's our own, way of contributing to the development of the sport. So rugby, one sport that Nigeria's got the potential to do just well with, worldwide, will get our attention tonight on the show, particularly in terms of funding, the biggest elephant in the room. How can that issue be tackled? Yeah, we will discuss it tonight on the show.
I almost laugh when I heard us say the biggest elephant. Means there are many elephants. Okay. Okay, we'll talk about that. All right, let's introduce our guest in the Lagos studio. Kehinde Idris joins us now. Good to see you, Kehinde. Thanks for braving the odds to be here. The rain, the traffic, and every other thing. We're happy to have you join us on the show tonight.
I also did laugh when Austin said the biggest elephant in the room.
There are many elephants.
This one should be an albino elephant. But it's good to be here always, Tuesday. And looking at the rundown, I think a lot of things got my attention, the rugby, but this wrestling, family, I'm just wishing them all the very best going into the Olympics, because this is like the creme de la creme in our wrestling. We know that the men are not as, so the women were having our eyes on them, and for the man, this time it's not men who made it into the shot. Let's see what they can do.
All right, let me yield to Austin now, and of course, we want to start the conversation differently tonight. I want to start with rugby and the essential part that makes everything come together. It's like the glue that brings everything together is the funding, and that's the angle we want to x-ray on the show tonight.
That's right. I mean, we keep talking about corporate partnership all the time. How can we bring it into sports in Nigeria just so the private sector will get involved? We can't leave everything to government. Rugby, it's been going through some topsy-turvy ride in Nigeria. Sometimes we talk about it a good way. Other times we just wonder what the federation seems to be doing. Just 2 days ago, they were in Mauritius for the Africa Sevens, the Black Stallions. That's the men's senior national rugby team. Out of 12 teams, they finished 10th right there. And that's a good platform for us to now use to see what are we doing as regards the development of the sport in the country. Opeoluwa Ronshewe is based in the United States of America, but because he's got a burning desire and passion for rugby, he's in Lagos, Nigeria, to promote the sports. Opeoluwa, good to have you join us on Sports Tonight.
Hello, good evening. It's great to be with you guys as well. Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. Let's take it first from what happened at the Africa Sevens in Mauritius. I know you've been having some conversations with the Nigerian Rugby Football Federation as regards corporate partnership, but with the performance of the Black Stallions in Mauritius, does that highlight the need for us to pay more attention to the development of rugby in Nigeria?
Yes, most definitely, I would say so. First things first, it's very important that I mentioned that we had 8 debutants on the team, speaking to the potential of the team, speaking to the bright future ahead of us. That's something that I personally find very exciting. That's something that the rest of the team is really excited about as well. We've, achieved some very giant strides in recent times. We're currently ranked 8 out of 24. We're currently mentioned as one of the 6 emerging countries facing the most accelerated growth in the sport by World Rugby. So these are very commendable achievements and feats. As you mentioned earlier, we're more particular about the development of the sports. We're more particular about the potential of the sports. We're more particular about the commercial value of the sports. I'm sure you can agree with me, it's a predominantly huge sport around the world. We have countries even in Africa, like South Africa, like Kenya, doing amazing things within the sport. So there's no reason why a country as huge as Nigeria with such a huge talent pool shouldn't be benefiting from the greatness and the growth of the sports.
That's right. Let's talk about ways we can benefit. And I had to just use that phrase that got my colleagues laughing, and I'm sure you did too, the biggest elephant in the room, because the problems are enormous when you talk about other sports and how to develop them in Nigeria. But you've been making a lot of strides as regards corporate partnership. What conversation have you been having with the Federation?
I guess I've been designated the position of a zookeeper, if that's the biggest elephant. So, for us as a corporation, Flowville, we're focused on what we call the industries of the present and the future. Sports, entertainment, the creative industries. And we're really looking to bring in change, innovation, like you mentioned earlier, corporate partnerships, brand partnerships, endorsements, sponsorships, and the things that really we've identified as the gaps that we're facing from taking this industry from where they are right now with the potential that we have, with the talent that we have. These are the gaps that we're really facing, and we're really looking to fill in those gaps, and we're looking to be the go-to corporation to make sure that we're able to optimize the huge potentials of these industries and create an economy around sports, around creativity, the things that really interest the generations of today, and see how we can really boost the economy at large.
I will soon hand you over to my colleague in Lagos, but before I do just that, when I speak to stakeholders of sports in Nigeria, I say, "Oh, Austin, we don't have the environment for business. Oh, Austin, government bureaucracy. Oh, Austin, rules and regulations." With what you've seen, with the conversations you're having, do we have the environment? You think rugby can thrive in Nigeria?
Yes, most definitely. Let me just dive into some stats real quick. Like I mentioned earlier, we've actually been mentioned as one of the top 6 countries alongside Singapore, Belgium, Ghana. The World Rugby Federation itself is really creating a very enabling environment globally, and especially in Africa as well. Like you just mentioned, the Rugby Africa competition in Mauritius, a whopping £575 million has been invested over just the past year. And I'm sure any business person will agree with me that that's enough effort in creating some sort of enabling environment. We're also facing a lot of pre-teen growth. We have about 57% pre-teen involvement in the sport, and even gender inclusion and diversity. Out of the 11% growth that the sport has faced in the past year, we have a whopping 30% female involvement. So these are some very encouraging factors to show how much the sport is diffusing. And in Nigeria in particular, we have so many plans to ensure that we're tapping into communal essence, that communal value, going to communal involvement, going to the grassroots, and making sure that we're able to spread the sports. It's really an awareness and visibility problem, if you ask me. And, we have so many innovative strategies in place to make sure that we tackle this. The talent is not the problem. The interest in sports is not the problem. The visibility and the awareness is the problem. And, I believe with partnerships like this and with the unwavering efforts of the Nigeria Rugby Federation, I believe we'll be able to achieve all this and more.
All right. Once again, thanks for joining us. I think on behalf of sports-loving fans here in Nigeria, I should thank you for partnering with the Nigeria Rugby Federation, Rugby Football Federation. I think it's something that is heartwarming and good. So first, let me just, for my opening, let me just say thank you for that. And out of curiosity, also as a fan, and I know you occupy a vantage position, so you should be able to answer this. It appears when I hear people talk about rugby in Nigeria, they always talk about the sevens format. And out of curiosity, I want to ask, is it that we are suited to that, or that's what we want to invest in for now, or we are looking at? I'm just asking out of curiosity. But see, when I hear a lot of the stakeholders in sports, and I hear, it's all about the sevens. So out of curiosity, I just wanted to throw that in.
Well, I must start by saying thank you as well for all your contribution, for bringing me on board, for being curious enough to want to have this conversation. I believe with more conversations like this, the growth of the sport will be sport in due time. First things first, I would answer your question. The sevens would be a great entry point, in all honesty, as regards, endurance, as regards strategy, as regards tactics, and then you find out that a lot of teams now proceed to the same level of prominence, the same level of gameplay when it comes to the 15s. So you find out that the sevens might be a great opener for us to actually build our dominance, first things first, and then we can start to take it to the 15s.
All right. I know why I'm asking funny questions. I was having a conversation with my wife. She was looking at the Black Stallions players, and just out of curiosity, she said, look, when I see the other guys from South Africa and all that, I see heavy chest, broad chest, guys looking thick. Out of curiosity, she said, why are our own players not built like that? Is it because of this format, or you don't necessarily have to be tall and huge to be a good rugby player?
I mean, it does help, but those are not the only qualities required to play the sport. You have strength, you have endurance, you have fitness, you have speed, and, different players have different qualities. Some players are very agile, some players are more physical. Some teams are more physical. You find out teams like New Zealand, Australia, they have different gameplays. They're more physical, they're more tough on the turf. So it really depends. Our boys are doing just great. We have some huge boys, I must tell you. So I wouldn't necessarily totally agree with that point. And we have a great team. Like I mentioned earlier, the future is really bright. We have new debutants. We have boys playing in some of the best leagues around the world. Top performance week in, week out. So they're all looking forward to coming back home, donating their prowess and their expertise to this great country. And I believe that we're very much onto something. And I'll be very glad for everyone on board to, move closer, come on board, support, spread the word, and I'm sure we're going to achieve all our set objectives.
All right. Let me yield to my colleague. That's all I have to ask you. You've said a lot. So I'll yield to my colleague as we wind up on the conversation.
I think this is a good place to leave it. Do you have any final thoughts for our viewers on the show tonight before I let you go?
I already mentioned, we look very much forward to everyone coming on board, supporting the Stallions, supporting the female team as well. And, just enjoying the sport. It's a very enjoyable sport, huge all over the world, good coverage. And there's no reason why a country like Nigeria shouldn't, have a strong presence and to prove our dominance in the sport. So we need everyone's support. We need the communal essence. We need to tap into the communal value. For us as a corporation, we're also looking to tap into things like entertainment, to blend into sports, perfect blend, something we call sportainment. Something like a Super Bowl model, very similar to that model, and see how we can also rally people's general interest and then get them to focus on the core of the sports.
You know what, on a lighter note, before I let you go, there was a time I had former national captain Abu Aziz on the show, and he told me that with my size, I can make it to the Black Stallions. Was he messing with me? Please be sincere.
That must have been a long time ago.
I want to say thank you so much, Okweoluwa, for your time on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
The best. Well done for all you're doing for the development of rugby in Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
So that's it. The development of rugby in Nigeria. Okweoluwa Roshewe is a big stakeholder in that field. And Pende Idris, these are the sort of conversations we want to be having Right after we finish these conversations, we need to get to work.
Exactly, Austin. One of the things that makes me happy to find people like Okpeoluwa is the fact that this is not one of the fancied sports in Nigeria. This is not one of the sports that sports top stakeholders like the government, they are like the number one, would readily put in their money. You need to do a lot of convincing and tell them there is another money somewhere. And like I asked Daniel Igali sometimes ago, yes, you love wrestling, just like Okpeoluwa, you love rugby, but there are places, if you channel the same energy, you would have gotten more. Why Nigeria? I just want to say, if I cannot get answers to that question, like Yemi said, thank you, and hopefully you won't have any regrets for doing this.
All right. Hopefully there won't be any regrets. All right, let's move on and talk about the biggest elephant. I'm still really reeling from that statement. I'll be laughing all day. All right, but let's talk about something that is truly the biggest sporting event of 2024, multi-sport event that is. We're talking about the Olympics. And let me just quickly go across and let you know, just in case you do not know, let me let you know that it is 24 days to go to the Summer Olympics, Paris 2024, the Olympic Games. It's upon us. And usually at this point, I ask people, are you feeling the vibes? I'm already feeling the vibes. I may not be feeling it for Team Nigeria, but I'm feeling the vibes. I'm seeing a lot of things going on. And Kehinde Idris seems to agree with me. Before we go to Austin is in London, so we're not going to be fooled with what he's seeing over there. But, our own thoughts and conversation will be centered around. I'm seeing a lot of people unveil their kits. I'm seeing a lot of people do a lot of things around. And I hope to see Team Nigeria do that as well. But are you feeling the vibes? 24 days to go.
No. In all sincerity.
Generally or from Nigeria?
Maybe a little bit from the Nigerian angle. I think around the world I've seen snippet videos, here and there, countries talking about their athletes and all. But so many times, because of what we do, we channel a lot of our emotions, our energy into, what happens at home, because that is our primary assignment. And I think I've not been impressed. This is the Olympics. You just mentioned it. It's the biggest sport tournament in 2024. Also the biggest sport tournament in the world. It assembles everything. We just talked rugby. You can get in the Olympics. Everything. So it's so massive for you to be in that year from January 1. The Olympics should get your proper conversation, whether you have athletes who have qualified or not. And I think the AFN are not doing so well with this. Probably there are some other bodies I should call out, but this is the primary body, the AFN. They should do more. We should all know our athletes right now. Go to the streets of Lagos, the streets of Sokoto, streets of Port Harcourt. Trust me, they don't know the sports that will be participating in at the Olympics. That is how well we've not put that out there.
That's a wider conversation. All right, let me yield to Austin now. The other time we had a sports minister, and one of the things he said was it feels like this year we can surpass or emulate what it did in 1996. So let me yield to Austin as we talk about the wrestler. And let me allow that question hang somewhere in the background. 24 days to go. Do you think we can surpass that feat or equal it? Then also talk about the people that give us joy, the wrestlers.
Yeah, talk is cheap, Talk is so cheap. I think you should just let me say, what am I feeling from the United Kingdom? And I'll tell you so well that the buzz is right for the Olympics, because people are looking forward to it, because people who are serious as regards the Olympics, they started preparing right after the Tokyo Olympics. In fact, some people even closed shop 2 years ago as regards preparation for the Olympics. They are now just ticking checklists before they get into Paris. That's how it's supposed to be. The last time I talked about the Nigeria Olympic Committee, they came for me. I said that if it's the same NOC, we're not going to see anything, because if you want to check how sports is administered for the Olympics, the NOC should be dealing with the federations, but because we have an NOC that is... The last time I described them, they said they didn't like the way I described them, because they depend so much on the ministry. They want to do yes sir to everything that ministry says. They don't even understand their functions.
That's all.
I saw in the press the other day, the NOC is also saying the same thing. President Abu Gumal saying they are going to surpass and to be the best Olympics for Nigeria. And I said, how? What level of preparations? Tell me, what have you heard, me and Ken Idris, as regards the Super Falcons and how they are getting ready for the Olympics? What have we heard? Well, you talked about kits. That one is for sure. We will see kits, if it's too early, 1 or 2 weeks max to when we get to the Olympics. Yemi, in the United Kingdom, people have concluded preparation for the Olympics. People are ready. I spoke to some of the boxers the other day. They said, look, they cannot wait to get to Paris to compete. They don't worry. Right now, they're just conditioning. God bless Nigeria with good athletes and passionate talents that when they represent us, they give the best. But if it is leadership and our preparations, zero.
All right. Let's leave it at that for now. We'll talk some more as we go on. We need to go on a break. We'll be talking about Nigeria's preparation for the Olympics and all the things happening here in Nigeria with regards to sports. Let's go on that break. We'll be back for more. Welcome back. It was good we were on a break. Some of the things I heard. We shouldn't be saying that. All right, but it's just patriotism anyway. All right, let's move on and talk about wrestling now. And of course, that's where a lot of prospects, hope. A lot of people see the hope. Ken Idris talked about it. So let me just go to Ken Idris before we yield back to us. And I know he's going to wax lyrical about this lady's, not discounting the guy that is there, but a lot is expected from this lady. One of them had already given us a silver medal at the last Olympics. And we expected, I for one, expecting this time that Odunayo will be lucky, luckier than she has ever been.
Yeah, she's still smarting from what happened from the last Olympics. She is the last thing she expected, dreamt of, thought of, in her life, that she'll get to the Olympics, and in the very first fight she's out. It's a category that she owns. It's in her palm. And then that wrestler, took her out. So she wants to, rewrite the story, amend what was spoiled from the last time. And Odunayo is always a prospect for any competition, and that was a disappointment for all Nigerians, and this time was still supporting her still more. Blessing Oborodudu, there is nothing more to be said. She had to top everything she had done about, 8 times African champion, continue to do so well, Commonwealth Games and all of that, and then she got that silver. Beaten by an American who is a Ghanaian. So, we'll say
understand.
It's a Ghanaian that beat her, So, they are prospects. They continue from where they stopped the last time in championship or in qualifiers.
I see medals. I don't know the color.
I see medals.
I don't know the color, but I see medals.
And you wouldn't blame us because they've shown us a lot of light. And we still see them, being in that light when the Olympics get to resume. And maybe for Blessing, she will do one better by being first instead of second. And for Odunayo Adekure and the other ladies, they will get to, hit there. And you mentioned the man in the picture. Maybe this is the time we'll put some respect on that category.
We have a lot of ground to cover, but let me allow us to say something as we move on. The ladies, I see medals. I don't know the color, but I see medals.
I saw medals at the Rio 2016 Olympics. I remember so well. I spoke to Odunayo Adekure and I said, I see medals. It didn't happen. And then Tokyo Olympics, that shocker, took place again. So in our world of sports, you never just know. But if you prepare properly and the aura is right and you just go out there and compete, diligently, maybe. I think that's what even happened for Blessing Oborodudu. So this time, I don't want to see color of any medals. I'll just say go out there and just try to make it on the podium. Because at the time, Blessing Oborodudu was fighting in the final, we knew that if anything goes south, it will be a silver medal. And that's what she brought out of the Olympics. I love wrestling. I've covered it diligently and passionately. I know these guys. I remember how Odunayo cried when I spoke to her on the phone when she, lost at the Tokyo Olympics. So I think there's good experience in the bag now, okay? Good experience in the bag. If I want to put, I don't want to call it pressure. If I want to be expectant, it will be Odunayo Adekure and Blessing Oborodudu. I'm waiting for the Olympics to get close, and I'll send her a message, Oborodudu. If you can't wear silver in Tokyo, you can wear gold out of Paris, just sustain the momentum. But Odunayo Adekure, I love the way she took that defeat, and now she's getting ready. So there's Oborodudu, there's Odunayo Adekure, And there's Hannah Ruben. She's military champion. She's well experienced. She's been there for quite some time. She can also get us talking about her. So let's see what Hannah Ruben can also do in the women's 76 kg. We've got two debutants, and they are Esther Kolawole in the 62 kg and Ogunsonya Christiana in the 53 kg. The debutants, no pressure. But who says you can't shock the world? Who says you can't get the world talking about you on your debut appearance? So let's wait to see. And the only guy that we've got in the team, Ashton Mutua, men's freestyle wrestling in the 125 kg. He's a big guy. We still need to find a way to get the men to be as competitive as the women. But we're glad that we've got at least one man representing the country at the Olympics. So 6 wrestlers, 5 female, 1 male, 3 coaches in there, the very vast experience. Purity Aku, Victor Kode is also part of it, the experienced wrestling coaches, and they've got the leadership of Daniel Igali guiding them. Best wishes to our wrestlers. We know if we go by what the country is doing to them, they will not just even bother to compete, but they are passionate, they're dedicated, they've got a good leader, they've gone to the pre-Olympic tournament. Want to wish them all the best at the Olympics.
All right, want to wish them all the best. All right, it's time to go to Paris. Let's see how they're preparing for the Olympics. Now we're looking at it from the aspect of broadcasting, showing the games live. And these pictures are just telling the story of what is on offer. The Olympic broadcasters are giving viewers a tour of what will be their operations during the Olympics. So you can already see, this picture is lovely to watch. You can see the monitors, everything looking crisp and sharp. And trust me, that's what you're going to get at the Olympics. Let's allow you listen to the guys there, the stakeholders, telling us what to expect from the broadcasters.
The modern era of the Olympics, as designed by Pierre de Coubertin, was really to bring the world together in a single place to enable the transfer of know-how and improve the society through sports. And I think what we do as media, and you as media, it's exactly to be an enabler, no? So we really need to have this mindset just to make sure that regardless of your country of origin, education, conditions, what we do is really targeting just to make sure that you can get the most of it.
All right. So what is on offer is what you have been told. And so we're going to be seeing a lot from the broadcasters at the Olympics. All right, let's quickly move on the show over the weekend. The President Federation Cup happened, final in Lagos. Of course, we now have our winner. So just in case you missed it, I doubt that. But of course, the oldest football competition in Nigeria in the men's and women's category. I'll go across to talk about what happened. We have our champions and of course a breakdown of the individual awards is what we're going to quickly talk about now. So I'll just quickly go across and let you know. We start with the women. We love to talk about our women. So let's start with the women. In the women's competition, the winners, of course, you already know, Rivers Angels, and 25 million naira is what they got for winning the President's Federation Cup. Of course, runner-up, Niger Ratels, got 10 million for their efforts. Awards, MVP, most valuable player, Blessing Okpe from Rivers Angels. Top scorer, Agama Sipre Fege, Niger Ratels Football Club. Best goalkeeper, Agatha Thompson, Rivers Angels. All right, no surprise in that one. Let's flip and talk about the guys. Quickly, let's talk about the guys. The winner, you already know. El Kanemi Warriors, what did they get? 50 million naira is what they got for winning in the men's category. The runner-up, Abia Warriors, 20 million naira. MVP on the day, Nasiru Saliu, the El Kanemi Warriors player. Top scorer, Emmanuel Ogbole, Kwara United Football Club. Best goalkeeper, Ali Ishaku of Abia Warriors. All right, so that's a breakdown of what happened in that world. Let's quickly listen to one of the coaches who spoke immediately after the final. We'll start with the women now. We'll listen to the White Ogbonna Rivers Angels coach. I had a few things to say. We'll listen to the coach and we'll come back for more on Sports Tonight.
Well, I wouldn't say the season didn't come out well. Actually, our intention was to ensure that we got the CAF Federation Cup for the women to represent Nigeria. But we struggled. We did our best, but our best wasn't enough. It was a last minute effort we made. Could not give us a distance. Towards the end of the last minute, we lost the match, and by the end of the day, we did not get that in. But we came back home and started working harder to ensure we are here today. Yeah, this is a Federation Cup. Like I said earlier, these 36 teams that started this competition, and by the end of the day, only 2 remained. So for that 2 teams to qualify to this final, that means the 2 teams are good. So Nigeria test, it depends on how people look at it. They are not a pushover. Don't forget they have a national under-17 coach with experience, and they have a lot of players who are national team players. So nobody should underrate Nigeria. They are a good team. But by the end of the day, I think we have more experienced players more than them, so which went a long way to help in getting this truck. Well, our next target now is to ensure that we do what we call continuity in the team. During the course of our NWFL League and the Super Series, we saw a lot of players, even from this Federation Cup, we saw a lot of players, is to go back home, look at the areas we needed some new players. We had to bring them in and jet them to make sure next season, we work to ensure that we go for CAF, because we really need to go for the CAF competition next season.
All right, Rivers Angels. I like it when you give credit to your opponents, even when you win. I think that's the spirit of sportsmanship. And, of course, Coach Ogbonna already looking ahead to next season, as he should, anyway.
Yeah, that's what you do. I think the moment you don't dwell on what had happened, you give respect to who respect should be given. You pick out your own fault. It helps you move on as quickly as possible. And Rivers Angels are too much of a big team to even do that. In women's football in Africa, they're one of the renowned teams. So I want to see them get back to, that topmost place where we're talking continental. But good one. At the end of the day, the season did not just go, they didn't go empty-handed. They had to pick something, and then some money also in the bag. As much as this money don't cover anything, but they got some money in the bag.
Something.
Yeah, and I love the fact that this man is already looking forward, and we're together with him on this journey. Let's see what they will do next season, and come back to being that big team that we know.
All right, let's use the floor to Austin now. We want to talk about the men, but I'm very sure Austin has a thing or two to say about the ladies before he takes us through his thoughts about the guys.
I think I like the fact that it was really competitive, that Rivers Angels didn't just have it easy over Niger Rattles. I like the fact that it's a clear testament that women's football is actually competitive in Nigeria and that we must give it attention. We must invest in it. Rivers Angels, they will be going back to the continent. We shouldn't just say, it's Rivers Angels, they've got all it takes to play. No, start supporting them now. Give them all the preparations that they can have. Give them attention. Rivers State government, do something. I know they've been chasing Finidi George. We might get an announcement tomorrow that Finidi George is the new coach of Rivers United, but now there's Rivers Angels that will represent you on the continent. The men didn't live up to expectations, so support Rivers Angels, as they get to represent Nigeria on the continent. So I like it. I like what the women did, but there's been some conversations around officiating. It was just too late. There's already a champion. They've lifted the trophy. They've taken it to Port Harcourt. The men, we knew it was going to be a tricky encounter, but where did El Kanemi come out with that fantastic performance? It tells you one thing, Yemi. When you build momentum in our world of sports, you mustn't lose it. You must sustain it. And right from when El Kanemi Warriors gained promotion to the MPFL, they were telling everyone who cared to listen that, look, we only slipped. We are a top team if we want to talk about football in Nigeria. So the way they handled up their Warriors, the way they showed ambition, the way they played with a unity of purpose, the kind of goals that we saw, the way they were disciplined on the ball tells you that they really wanted to be champions. And indeed, they are worthy champions. Let's listen to Coach Aliyu Zubairu. He's been reacting right after his team won the President Federation Cup, beating Abia Warriors by 2-0.
I think going to the continent is a different ball game entirely. Like you said, not only the team, you must have the finance, the logistics, even the licensing. As we talk now, if you don't finish your licensing within 2-3 days, it's closed. They will close it. So you even start with that. So it's not kiddies play. If the government of Borno State know that they want to finance the team to continental level, they should tighten up their belt. This is not Nigerian league where you say, yeah, no, you travel tomorrow, nobody take that from you. So I think with that, if they are ready, we should be able to start anticipating or think of where the team will get to. Because you must have a target if you want to go to the continent. Not just go to the continent just for going to say because you qualified. If really you want to achieve something, you must set a target for yourself and work towards it. In licensing, one of the things that was given a cognizance is the pitch. If the pitch is not good enough, you have alternative pitch. You have about 2 or 3 pitches in the north that can be able to accommodate the CAF standard. So definitely we have to go for other options. And you see, one thing is, I never believe football anywhere is different. Maybe you are not playing. It's the best to play in front of your spectators. But if you don't have that environment that is conducive or the requirement, playing elsewhere doesn't change anything. If you know my history in Wiki Tories, the Tafawa Balewa Stadium Bauchi was under renovation. Then the management of Wiki was so worried that the contractor couldn't finish it. We have to go to another venue that they suffered when they played in Jos. I said, football is one. If you believe you can win here, you can go and win elsewhere. That was why we used Gombe as our home. And we did better than even Gombe that used the pitch. Gombe United went to relegation that same season. And we did very well. So you can play football anywhere.
So that's it. What else can we add? Kehinde Idris, he has said it all that. Look, now you should be ready. Going to play on the continent is a big deal. I kept saying it. It's not just about who wins this President Federation Cup. It is who is ready to compete on the continent.
It's as simple as that, Austin. I think the management of El Kanemi Warriors should just take this video, listen to this coach. Is their coach? But I'm saying play it over and over. I think he's spotted everything, crossed the T's, dotted the I's. He's speaking everything reality. We might not have our stadium ready. We need to check the pitches in and around the north to see which one will suit us and all of that. And then we'll find a way to make it a home. See, the Confederations Cup, the CAF Champions League is not your mate, especially with the way we prepare here. I said it last week, I'll say it again. This is the period, like the coach also alluded to, this is the period where you look at when is the competition going to start. If 1 month to that competition you're not ready, I think it's better you don't even go because you will get disgraced. It's as simple as that. And for your Kanemi Warriors just coming to the top league, you will be doing everything hard to stay in the league because that's also competitive. Right. And then you'll be playing on the continent. A lot of money should be spent, but also a lot of discipline needs to go into everybody. I mean, administrators especially, that has to do with Warriors.
The focus should be on the players, not on the administrators. Let the players take the shine. All right, let's travel to Germany while still sitting here in the studio. That's our next port of call. Let's take a look at some of the results and some of the things happening right about now. The Netherlands were able to book their spot in the next round of the competition, just as Austin said earlier when we started the show. So I'll just quickly go across, talk about the results as we have them on the screen. Today's result, that is, Romania lost to the Netherlands. I don't think the results really tells you the story of the game. I thought it was quite close. And at some point, the Romanians went all out and they got punished by the Dutch. All right. So that's what happened. As we speak, there's a game currently going on. The last we heard was that Turkey was leading. I'm very sure Austin will confirm that to us quickly. Turkey leading 2-1. That's the last round of 16 match currently going on. So Austin, let me quickly yield to you before I look at the quarterfinal fixtures. Is that still the situation?
That's it, Yemi. But what a story. The game right now is in the 84th minute. And I tell you, it's been a tale of set-piece goals. Remember, Turkey, they got the perfect start that they needed to play Austria. That has proven to be a giant killer at this Euros. Turkey, through Mary Demiral, inside 56 minutes, open scoring. The ball was looking for where to go. The Austrians didn't clear, and then it landed in front of Demiral, and it blasted it into the net. 53rd minute, the Turkish team went into the break with that 1-0 lead. 53rd minute, Austria had a chance. They had a clear attempt at goal. They didn't score. Turkey cleared it. And 5 minutes later, same guy, same set piece, made it 2 for Turkey. But trust Austria, they were ready to fight. And so Michael Grigoric in the 66th minute pulled one back, and it was through the set piece. So it's a 5th minute now. Turkey 2, Austria 1. I'm still expecting drama in this fixture.
All right, we're expecting drama, and we're going to be here to report it. All right, matches have been played, so let's see. We have the pairings for quarterfinals. We're just waiting for the last game to be played to round it all up. And there you have it. The host, Germany, will come against Spain. This is a game everybody wants to see. Spain, for me, the best team in the tournament. In Stuttgart, at the Stuttgart Arena in Stuttgart, 5 p.m. That's when the game will be played. I think on Friday. You have Portugal will take on France. Somebody said these two teams have been waiting for somebody to knock them out with the way they've been playing.
Yes.
But as it happens, one of them will go. Those two teams have not lived up to expectation at all. 8 p.m. At the Volkspark Stadium in Hamburg. Portugal will take on France. Then, of course, the Three Lions of England, another team that have really not lived up to space, will be up against Switzerland in Dusseldorf. That's where that game will be played. All right, Kate Idris, we're pressed for time, but what you have on your screen, I give you a minute, just a wrap.
Yeah, I think Germany, Spain should get my full attention because I think of the whole pack, that's the game. The most informed team against the home team. That's the host nation. And Germany have also not just been a host nation by name. They've played some very good football. So I think that should be the top of the bunch in the quarterfinals. Portugal, France, you said everything. I think these two teams have not done anything special.
One of them should just go.
I would just want to say,
one of them should just
like
go.
I said about Belgium, it's time for Belgium to go, and they did go, which I'm happy about. For England, Switzerland, I think England have got a huge one on their hands. Switzerland will be a hard nut to crack, and it won't be a surprise if Switzerland gets above England. But I think this English team looks like one of those teams that wobble and fumble, and they'll find their way in the semis or in the final.
And if it stays like this,
Yeah.
we're probably going to have Netherlands, Turkey.
Netherlands versus Turkey.
If it stays
Yes.
the way it currently
Yes,
is.
yes.
So if it stays that way, who would you be rooting for?
If it goes that way, definitely Netherlands. There is a lot of respect on that team. And like the commentator said during that game, I think they are now coming into their own. Some teams grow into the competition. Maybe that might be the story of Netherlands. For the game ongoing, while, before the game, I said Turkey, Austria, I will be one person that won't predict where it will swing. I think it's closely knitted, and the game is telling it.
All right, so let's give the floor to Austin as we prepare to wrap things up. Germany, Spain, for whatever reasons, I think the Spaniards will take it. They've been the best team in the tournament. My opinion, you feel free to disagree.
I will disagree because you see a different German team in the quarterfinals. The fans will also come out. We're beginning to see the role the fans can play. We saw it in the game between the Netherlands and Romania. It was their fans that made a difference. I'm seeing it now in the game between Turkey and Austria. It is the fans for the Turkey. They were lively from the start, kept pushing the team, and inside 56 seconds of the game, they got a goal. So I think the fans will make a difference for Germany in their game against Spain. But let's see. I'm in England, so let me tell you what's going on with that English team. The fans, they don't like the way the team is performing. But just as Kennedy Idris said, they don't care. They said fumble and wobble and do everything you want to do, get to the final and win this trophy. There's pressure on Gareth Southgate. Yeah, I'll tell you this. A football fan called a radio station and said Gareth Southgate shouldn't be allowed close to a prison. And the presenter asked why, and he said because he's going to break that prison, because what they saw against Slovakia was a great prison escape. So they said, don't let Gareth go close to any prison. But they are still in the tournament. They've got a tricky Switzerland team. Let the best team win. We'll be here to talk about it. That's the show in London. Mostin Okonakpan. In everything you do, remember, let's keep talking. Bye for now.
All right. Biggest elephant. I'll take that anyway. Biggest elephant. All right. Kennedy Idris, I want to thank you for your time on the show today. As usual, the conversation never ends. We'll take it out of the studio. But thank you very much for braving the odds to be here.
Of course, always happy to be here. And also, the Copa America, we still have our eyes on that.
All right. And talking about the Copa America, we're going to leave you highlights. We'll leave you with highlights of the Copa America, and we bid you to enjoy the rest of the day. We'll see you again tomorrow. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.